Here we are again at the Ted Reeve Bubble, track 2 of the Fresh and the Furious 2013. This is Game 6 of the tournament. My name is Lightning Slim. You are watching Canuck Derby TV, a Layer 9 production. You see a shot there that the ladies in white, those are the members of the Queen's Court from Queen City Rollergirls, that is Buffalo, New York. On their roster, Flippin' the Bird, Incinerator, Pearl Reckless, Joyride, Inspector Bridget, Low Ass Lane, Dem Apples, Toxic Shocker, Pulverizer, Commando, Smacky Onassis, Hot Damsel, Geo. On the bench for the Queen's Court, Ace Bandage, and Homicidal Barbie. Their opponents will be wearing black and plaid today, the Fergus Feims, joined by some players from Grey Bruce Roller Derby. That includes Nonsense, Tan Her, Grindhouse Gretchen, Bumper, Rainbow Fright, Eager Beaver, Clementine, Off the Rails, Scary Queen, Busty Limbs, Toe Pick, The Bominator, Party Crasher, Chaos, Mockingbird, McPherson, Viola Streak, and on the bench for the Fergus Feims Grey Bruce, the Raven, and Tsunami Slayer. I recently found out the Fergus Feims. Feim is a Gaelic word. It has a dual meaning. It can mean heat and also new beginnings. A perfect name for this tournament. It's going to get hot here in the bubble. It's warming up already. Skaters have taken to the track, and we're ready to begin. Action underway immediately, a rugby-style start. Lead jammer, number 73. That's Mockingbird. She's wearing the black. She's skating for Fergus Grey Bruce. We have the first penalty that is to the pivot of Queen's Court. They're skating one short now. Mockingbird. You can hear the Fergus cheering section behind me. She puts up a grand slam. Penalty on the play, direction of gameplay. And that's to McPherson. She will take a seat in the sin bin for 1 minute. Another scoring pass from Mockingbird and a grand slam. The Fergus Feims skate on, both jammers engaging with the pack. Fergus doing a good job of recycling the jammer of the Queen's Court as Mockingbird skates through once again. It's Low Ass Lane jamming for the Queen's Court, and she has yet to penetrate the defense of Fergus. A hefty hit there, pushes Low Ass Lane to the inside of the oval. That was Eager Beaver doing the damage there, although she fell herself, and that allowed Low Ass Lane to re-enter legally. The jam comes to a close, and the Fergus Feims, joined by the skaters of Grey Bruce, they are out to an early lead in the contest. The score 15-0 with 18.5 minutes remaining. This boutcast is generously brought to you by our good friends at Rydell Skates. Rydell will be donating a set of wheels to the team MVPs just before the championship game. Thank you, Rydell Skates. Oh, a body pileup inside the pack. That's Hot Damsel. Takes a spill, hit once again. Both teams skating at full strength. Number V8, Viola Streak, jamming for the Feims. She is out in front. She is lead. Meanwhile, Hot Damsel enduring more punishment from the blockers. McPherson doing some damage there. Hot Damsel tries the inside line, instead finds that way blocked. There is a moving wall of 3 in front of her. Meanwhile, Viola Streak on a scoring pass inside the pack, cuts through to the inside line, and she has a grand slam. She's extended the lead of Fergus to 20. Hot Damsel squeezed out in turn number 2. And going shoulder to shoulder with number 3 there. That's off the rails. And Viola Streak coming around for another 5-point scoring pass. Viola Streak calls off the jam. .5 minutes. Fergus Feims, 25. The Queen's Court of Queen City Rollergirls still at 0. See a shot there, the blockers jockeying for position on the line. The whistle blows. Action underway. One blocker in the box for Fergus. And McPherson jumps out in front. She is lead. Jammer for Queen's Court now skating in the free and open spaces, but it is McPherson catching up with the pack. She is on a scoring pass inside the pack, cuts through to the inside and calls off the jam. An effective 4 in the door for McPherson. And that will bring the Fergus up to a score of 29, and we have a timeout being called by the Queen's Court in the short game format with only 15 minutes remaining. This is probably a good maneuver on the part of Queen's Court to get their house in order and try and make a mark on the score. The Fresh and the Furious 2013 brought to you by our good friends at 1234 Skate Company. From equipment to training to advice, 1234 Skate Company will get you rolling. Visit them at 1234, that's in words, skateco.com. You see the team captains and coaches in conference there. They're looking at the scoreboard. Raven, coaching for Fergus, discussing something with his captains. And over at the center of the oval, the referees having a discussion of their own. They're no doubt coming to a decision about the question that was raised during the timeout. Senior Wiener skating over and having a word with the coach. With Ace Bandage to deliver the decision of the referees. Shot there of referee Guilo for sure. On the left, on the right, that's Tsunami Warning wearing the stripes. And next to Tsunami Warning, Tsunami Slayer coaching for Fergus. Tsunamis everywhere. Global warming, ladies and gentlemen. A quick lead jam for the Queen's Court. This is Incinerator. A very tall gal skating with long limbs, and she's hoping to put the Queen's Court on the board. Meanwhile, Mockingbird jamming for Fergus. She has cleared the pack, but it is Incinerator inside the pack. 1666 cuts through the pack on a scoring pass, puts up 4 and calls off the jam. 4 in the door. Incinerator has put the Queen's Court on the scoreboard. .5 minutes remaining. Fergus Feims 29, Queen's Court a score of 4. But they've broken that barrier. The ladies in white of Queen's Court maybe getting some confidence back and looking to find the handle on the door back into this contest. And a jammer race as Viola Streak is trying to get away from number 424 for Queen's Court. That's G.O. And a forced call off. Nothing either way. No change to the score. Go looking pretty happy with herself for chasing down Viola Streak. One blocker in the box for the Queen's Court. McPherson jumps out in front. She has lead for Fergus. Meanwhile, the jammer for Queen's Court has also cleared the pack. Both teams on a scoring pass. Low-ass lane jamming for Queen's Court, but it is McPherson inside the pack first. She's going to grab what she can and calls off the jam. A shutout play there from McPherson. The coaches of Queen's Court going with the hot skates. They've put Incinerator on the line. She has been the successful jammer in white so far. Incinerator tries the outside line. She is skating against Viola Streak. Viola Streak held up at the inside line. Toxic Shocker held her up as long as she could, but Viola Streak is now out in front for lead. Incinerator being very ably defended. Oh, Incinerator taking a penalty. This is a power jam for Fergus. A wall of white in front of Viola Streak. She's trying to squeeze her way through. Manages to split the defenders. Puts up a grand slam. Fergus now forming a conga line, opening up as much track as possible for their jammer. She's going to have to fend for herself against that wall of white again. Keeping her feet moving, trying to squeeze through. Viola Streak, V8. And Viola Streak putting up big block power in a small body. A big smile on her face as she comes around turns number 1 and 2. More penalties being assessed here to Queen's Court. The penalty bus is full. Mom's got a full minivan, the jammer, and 2 blockers in white over in the penalty box. A lot of room to skate. And that means Viola Streak calls off the jam. She's hoping to get a little bit of a power start for the jammer to follow her. 49 to a score of 4. The Fergus Feims lead the Queen's Court of Queen City. 11 minutes and 15 seconds remain. The winner of this contest will go on to face the Smooth Operators from 705. And Mockingbird, number 73, gains lead. Once again, Fergus forms the conga line. This is a tried and tested power jam maneuver these days. Mockingbird takes a penalty. We rotate jammers. Incinerator back on the track. This is now a power jam for the Queen's Court, an opportunity for them to make up for some lost time. The game at the halfway point, 10.5 minutes remain. Incinerator coming around the outside, trips over her own blocker, maintains her skates. And now falls to the rear of the pack. Penalty being assessed here. A low blocking penalty coming here to one of the Fergus Feims. Incinerator cuts her way through the pack. That's Grindhouse Gretchen going to the penalty box for Fergus as Incinerator puts up a grand slam. Fergus trying to keep the pack moving quickly and keep it out of the reach. Now Ferguson penalty trouble. Chaos, number 71, taking a seat, and the penalty bus for Fergus is full. Incinerator blows a tire in turn number 2. Takes a moment to get back to her skates. She looks a little bit winded. Mockingbird back on the track. Now we have 2 jammers. Illegal procedure penalty. And that is coming to number 24 of Fergus, Rainbow Fright. She voices her bewilderment towards the referees, but skates off towards the penalty box as the jam comes to a close. Incinerator breathing hard, putting in a lot of work for the Queen's Court. And with 9 minutes remaining in the contest, the Fergus Feims a score of 54, the Queen's Court 17. The action begins again. Both teams have skaters in the penalty box. Room to skate there. Go. Number 424, Gio. And she is lead. And she is getting the go signal from her bench. Go is skating against McPherson. Go through to the inside line. Puts up 4 points. Puts hands to hips. Calls off the jam. The Queen's Court doing it by spoonfuls, getting back into the contest. 57-21, the current score. 8.5 minutes remain, and we have a timeout being called. And we have a timeout. Fergus having a discussion on the bench, perhaps about how to quell this resurgence by the Queen's Court over the last few jams. You are watching the Fresh and the Furious 2013. This is track number 2 over in the Ted Reeve bubble. My name is Lightning Slim. And this stream is being brought to you by Layer 9 Productions. The Fresh and the Furious, of course, a tournament for skaters who have been skating for 1 year or less. FreshMeat, as they are called in the industry. All of these skaters have been skating for 1 year or less. There may be some exceptions granted by the tournament committee depending on lengthy injuries. And it looks like the timeout all finished. Hope you took a moment to either listening to the sparkling wit of me or refill a beverage and get yourself comfortable. Here we go. Coming around the outside, Viola Streak. She is lead, but in hot pursuit, number 369 for Queen's Court. That's Pulverizer. Viola Streak jumps into the pack. Heavily defended there by Loas Lane. Pulverizer heads to the inside line and picks up a track cut. This is a power jam for Viola Streak of Fergus. Viola Streak is through. There's a grand slam. Fergus reestablishing their lead over the Queen's Court. The Queen's Court put up a 4-wall of white, trying to stop the progress of Viola Streak. Viola Streak puts her shoulder to the wheel and skates as quickly as she can, but picks up a forearm penalty, so she put a little more than her shoulder into the wheel. We will rotate jammers within that penalty box. We are momentarily jammerless on the track. The Queen's Court puts up a conga line, and now Pulverizer back on the track, being heavily defended there. Off the rails, knocks her down. Pulverizer back on her skates now. A 3-wall of black faces her. She has 2 to beat. One of them fell. A no-pack situation declared. They have to let Pulverizer go, and she has a grand slam. Pulverizer pulling up her shorts and almost accidentally calling off the jam. Falls to the inside of the track. The jam comes to a close. 2 more points picked up there by Pulverizer. Six minutes remain. Fergus 72. Queen City 28. Still lots of smiles on the Queen City bench. They've come here for the experience of this FreshMeat tournament. They've come quite a ways from Buffalo, although maybe not as far as some of the folks from Northern Ontario and Quebec. But they did cross an international border to do so. Hot Damsel taking a hit there from McPherson, knocked to the inside of the oval. And Viola Streak, fresh from the penalty box, tries to get into the action there. Knocked down, but uses that low center of gravity. She is a fairly diminutive player, and she comes out with lead jammer status. Viola Streak zipping around the track, avoids falling bodies, and picks up points as she laps the jammer of Queen's Court. That puts up an extra point. She gains that off Hot Damsel. Jam comes to an end. An extra grand slam there for Viola Streak. And Fergus extends their lead. Just under 5 minutes remain. 77-28 the score right now. Skaters reassemble on the track. Both teams skating at full strength, a relative rarity in this FreshMeat tournament, as the inexperience of the players can lead to quite a few penalties being called. Mockingbird jumping out, picking up lead. Hot on the heels of Mockingbird. That's go. Mockingbird takes a hit from Pulverizer, calls off the jam, picks up three. A 3-point pass. That must have been a 4-point pass. The Fergus Feims now a score of 81. Queen scored 28. 3.5 minutes remain. Coming up next in the bubble, the Power Dames face Crow City. McPherson coming around the outside, picks up lead for Fergus. Incinerator, one to beat at the front of the pack. She is bedeviled by a blocker, falls. Chaos doing some damage there. And that is a penalty, a forearm penalty to Incinerator. Chaos managing to draw that penalty, and now a power gem for Fergus. And that will likely put this game out of the reach of Queen City. McPherson runs into a wall, turns sideways, squeezes through. And that is a full scoring pass for McPherson. And just like that, she's around the track once more, puts up 4 points. 2.5 minutes remain. The Fergus looks like they're about to break the 100-point mark.
Hello.
Oh. McPherson slams into the wall of white in front of her, avoids a back-blocking penalty, and skates on. And that is a grand slam. McPherson doing some heavy lifting for the Fergus Feims. She comes around the mountain one more time. Getting squeezed there by Dem Apples. And now, defensive play forms in front of her, but those guys, the blockers are on the wrong side of the pack formation. They gotta let her go. The jam comes to a close. McPherson grabs another couple of extra points. 106-28 the score. And we are in the final few minutes of the contest. Just about a minute and a half remaining. One more jam. The Power Dames of Seaway Roller Derby Girls will face Crow City. That's Chatham, Ontario. They're coming up next here in the bubble as what will likely be the final jam of the Fergus Queen's Court contest begins. Viola Streak is held within the pack, and it is Incinerator with lead jam for Queen's Court. Incinerator on a scoring pass approaches the pack, falls to the inside, is overtaken by Viola Streak. Viola Streak gets rubbed out there by Flippin' the Bird. Quickly back to her skates, avoids a falling player. She steps over Pearl Reckless. Viola Streak on a scoring pass now, puts up 4. Incinerator also escapes from the pack with 4 points. This is a trade now, a trade the Fergus Feims are destined to come out ahead on. 1 minute left in the jam clock, only 23 seconds in the game clock. Viola Streak bumped there by Flippin' the Bird. Flippin' the Bird very effectively blocking Viola Streak as she is recycled to the back of the pack. Incinerator makes her way to the front of the pack. Jam comes to a close. The Queen's Court are looking for a timeout. Queen's Court get a timeout. Senior Winger skating over to the timekeeper's table. We may get some time put back on the clock to get one more jam in. Yes, they've called up the clock again. It looks like they're adding some time. 1 second on the game clock. And they're going to add it looks, well, yeah. If we begin with another jam, we'll have to put another full 2 minutes on the jam clock. The current score, 113 for the Fergus Feims. The Queen's Court of Queen City, 36. What is definitely the final jam begins. Mockingbird has lead for the Fergus Feims, and she calls it off immediately to seal that victory. Some of the skaters did not hear the call off, kept on going. I wonder how it feels to be assessed a penalty after the bout is over. That's all she wrote, folks. The Fergus Feims, 113, Queen's Court, 36. Fergus goes on to face the Smooth Operators of 705. The Fergus Feims go on to face 705 Roller Derby Smooth Operators in Game 13. The Queen's Court will face the Neophytes in Game 14 at 2:20 this afternoon or thereabouts. I'm going to give up the microphone now to my colleague, the Derby Nerd. I am Lightning Slim. You are watching the 2013 Fresh and Furious Tournament on Canuck Derby TV, a Layer 9 production.